Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bad Thought Studios. Today, X Rod and I are doing a full breakdown of Season 2, Episode 5 of House of the Dragon. But before we get into it, I want to make sure everyone likes, comment, and subscribes to the channel. We're almost at 500 subs, and it's been a crazy ride so far. But yeah, we are almost at 500 subs. So make sure you guys hit that like button on the video if you guys like it. And also make sure you guys are subscribing. And also put some stuff in the comments and let us know what you guys think. We'd love to answer questions. And I was telling X I want to do a full episode on just answering questions. So whatever questions you guys have, feel free to put it in the comment section. But also make sure you guys are subbing with notifications on so you guys are notified once the video is uploaded. But X Rod, I appreciate you joining me, brother. How's everything, man?
What's up, bro? I mean, you were just here hanging out with me, so it ain't been that long.
Yeah, yes, I was. Yes, I was. And thank you guys to for those who follow us on TikTok. We had a pretty cool last couple of days with you guys, sending love and getting on the live with us. So if you guys aren't following our TikToks, make sure you guys go to Tones_TV and also XRod_TV for our TikToks. We do live panels once the episode's done. We bring people on to talk about the show, good stuff like that. So um, I'm excited for this, bro. A lot of people disliked episode 5, which I get is understandable to a point because we watch shows differently. We take in shows and talk about the shows way differently than most. We are character developments. We love some of the stuff that happens as far as the political side with House of the Dragon, but um, this was that. Episode 5 was a very, very political episode. It showed us what happened after the scenes or after the events have happened to Meleys and Rhaenys. So I was expecting something like that. I was expecting an episode quite like this. We'll get into our likes and dislikes about the episode, but what was your overall, like, without going into detail, what was your overall, like, thoughts on the show or on the episode?
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't like this episode just because it was slower, but I thought it was great. It definitely showed us the aftermath of what we saw from the most recent episode and how like everyone was reacting. And I feel like we needed this episode before we get into. I know a lot of people want action, but you're not going to get action every time. And like I told you a while back, I love like the silver tongue. I love how people when they're talking, even if it's just a talking episode, you have to have that dialogue, man. And that's what this episode was. It's just dialogue. We're getting into some other things, foreshadowing. We know some big stuff's coming, but yeah, all in all, I thought this was a great episode.
Yeah, and we got the action that everyone was wanting in episode 4. We got the best scene within the first two, or the best battle within the first two seasons rather, and you have to expect something like this. It's not going to just be a battle on top of battle on top of battle. That's just not how it works. That's not how a TV show should be ran. But we were expecting something like this, and like I said, we'll get into our dislikes and likes about it. But I want to start off with the very first scene that we get. Aegon got hurt, of course, the events of Aemond. And by the way, guys, we are doing spoilers if that isn't obvious right now. So if you guys haven't seen episode 5, make sure you guys go watch the episode.
It's crazy
I
how you had to say that.
Yeah, I know. I like it. I like having to say it because of that reason, because people won't know what this is about. They won't read the title. They just click on it because they see House of the Dragon. So if you guys haven't seen episode 5 of season 2, make sure you guys go check that out and then come back to this. But I want to start with the very, very first scene that we get. We get, Kristen Cole and Gwen. They come back. They're parading Maylise's head on the cart, and you would think everyone should be cheering in the streets and happy about, oh, they slain the dragon, but no, the people were pissed. In the very first scene, you get the people picking up moldy oranges. Food is going low. And people are just suffering within King's Landing, and then you get what people say is a bad omen being um, around King's Landing with Meleys. Like, that is a bad omen, and it's they. I think one of them said Rhaenyra will answer this, which isn't a good thing because they think trouble is coming to King's Landing. But what was your overall thoughts on that scene, and how did you interpret it?
Yeah, again, the people they're King's Landing is not in a good spot right now, and for you to parade a dragon head through the streets at
And
the
by
end
the
of
way, they're known as gods. Like dragons are known as gods. And
yeah,
seeing a god, aka god, with the fucking head chopped off and being paraded, like that's not a good scene.
yeah, yeah. No, and actually, one guy says it. I think the guy that's sitting next to
Hugh
you
Hammer,
see
yeah,
you see Hugh Hammer, and then there's another guy standing next to him. He goes, I thought the dragons were gods.
yeah,
And Hugh Hammer says it's just meat. But everybody else believes in these dragons. I mean, these cities have worshipped these dragons. They fear these dragons because of the downfall that could happen if these dragons were to attack.
hmm
And when you see it parading through the street, this guy one guy said you can hear him in the background. This is a bad omen. Yeah, now everybody's feeling that, and it's kind of already being. And I think the citizens feel that because it's already being seen throughout King's Landing.
yeah,
There, there's no food. They're stealing from each other. That's mentioned a little bit later on in the episode. It's not a good scene for all of King's Landing right now. And then for you to drag a dragon head through the streets, one that you, and honestly, she lost 2-1. She
yeah.
got one of them, but and you can't beat Vhagar. I mean, at least for right now, she tried and she did some damage to Vhagar, but you know, we'll see how if some information comes out about that to the people of King's Landing. But yeah, no, it's not a good spot for them right now, and they're going to be pissed with their government or with their king, and I would say King Regent as well. We know that there are rumors being spread about and not being a good spot, and they were saying that people are leaving. Yeah, no one wants to be in King's Landing right now, so it's not a good place.
Yep. And not just that, like, the bad omen with the dragon head being shown around and their king being hurt within the battle, and they don't know what the fuck's going on. They don't know who to follow at this point, and there's no air. There's like they don't just know what to do. So there's going to be chaos within King's Landing, within the Red Keep. There's going to be all kinds of just hectic shit going on, and this scene kind of shown the side where people are concerned, very concerned about what's going to happen next. So, but I want to continue on because that scene we also see Alicent and Aemond up in up on the top part, and the way she looks at Aemond, she knows something happened. She sees the dagger within his belt line. She sees the look on his face, not concerned about anything. Like like she looks scared, bro. She looks scared. She doesn't know what to think. And Alicent being, she kind of mentioned to Rhaenyra in episode 2, I think it was, or 3, where she says, "You know what Aemon is," almost like
Right.
he's a monster. You know what I'm saying? So, what was your initial thoughts when you seen her look at Aemon's belt and seeing the dagger that Viserys once held and now Aegon holds or is supposed to hold as king?
She really fears her sons. Well, not sons. I would say she fears Aemon, and I say it's her fault because she didn't control them and she wanted control over her sons. But I'm sorry, you weren't there for them. You weren't necessarily a mom, and you still kind of aren't. I mean, and as far as Aemon goes, you've been giving him shit the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
I understand he messed up, but now he's king, and you still don't trust him, and you didn't. Oh man, there's a word for it, but like you didn't prepare him for kingship. He didn't. Well, he wasn't raised to be king. He was raised to be a warrior. As to where Aegon was supposed to be king, but even he wasn't raised to be king. He did whatever he wanted. He,
Yep.
went out with his friends, hung out, messed around, or did what he want within the streets of King's Landing, and that's now on you. So the fear that she sees in Aemon from herself it's justifiable because you don't know what he's going to do to her now. He might be holding a little bit of a grudge. He's not going to do anything while he's king, at least, but he has that power now. Yeah, you should be scared because
Yep.
you've been ripping him apart so far the entire season.
And a lot of people keep telling me that Aemon is ruthless. He's really not that ruthless, dude,
He's really
compared to
not.
what we've seen from like Ramsay Bolt, Joffrey Baratheon. Like we've seen ruthless characters. And he, like, for one, what he did to Lucerys, technically, I mean, if you want to go by what we've seen in the show, and he apologized to the or he said he felt sorry for what happened. When it initially happened, he told Vhagar not to do it. Like, that wasn't really ruthless. What he did to his brother technically was a little ruthless, but he took his shot when he had it. And it was, we don't know if it was payback for what he did in the brothel to him. He doesn't know if that was the only shot he got while Meleys was, battling with Aegon and Sunfire. Like, we don't know if that was technically a ruthless part to him. Obviously, we know how he got to the throne, and some people like myself think of it almost as like a not conniving, but like what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but all the events that led up to him being king was so strategic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you think about that, and that's the way I look at Aemond. But if you break it down, it's really not that much of a ruthless side to him, if you know what I'm saying.
I wouldn't even say it's ruthless. I would say he's just being decisive. He's not dwelling on something that doesn't need dwelled on. He takes his time, I think, with certain things to make that decision, and then when it gets to the point, it's either fight or flight for him. So, and most time it's fight, and it just looks bad because it's something maybe no one else would do in this moment, but it needs to get done. Shooting, fire at Aegon and Rhaenys, that's a decisive moment, and you're in battle. Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So he took that opportunity. Again, same thing with them putting him. Well, we'll talk about this in more of a moment. But when he does become King Regent, it's decisive. He's got to do it
Like he was
now.
born for it. Yep.
Right. It's just
as soon as he dropped the fucking marble, orders came out of his mouth.
Right. Exactly. He picked it up. He walked around the table, slammed it down. This is what we're doing now. Yep. And I think that, and again, back to Alicent, that's what she fears, is because he's quick. He's not sitting there thinking, "Oh, how's this going to make you feel?" No, he doesn't care. He's doing it right now.
And the way that she talks to, or the way she talked to Aegon in episode 4 compared to the way she looks at Aemond in episode 5, it's a completely different, like facial expressions, completely different person that she's talking to. She fears Aemond more than she fears Aegon. And that's crazy.
She fears Aegon. I think she's just, she talks down to Aegon like he's still a child. And Aemond, she fears as in like he's gonna kill her or something.
Yep. And I want to mention Helena in this episode, because she says, I don't know how many words she said, but I'm paraphrasing, but she said, did it work? How what did she say again?
She says,
now I'm blanking on it.
She says,
was it worth it?
Was it worth the price?
Yes, exactly. And just that scene, and then when Aegon is being carried into his chambers, her facial expression, she's not sad, she's not mad. It's almost like she knew what was going to happen. Obviously, we didn't get a premonition of her, or saying she's seen something, but she had to have seen something.
She saw something. We know we know who she is. She saw something coming.
Exactly. So shout out to Helena, man. She's the one who's been going through it the most out of everyone.
Yeah.
So it looks like Alicent has no more pull, bro. She has no more pull. Larys is not getting his feet picks no more, so he's out.
Yep.
Kristen Cole's wasn't expecting to see his men burn like that in the Battle of Rook's Rest, and he's in a different mindset, and he's scared of Aemond as well, because he didn't, unless he when he hit himself, he hit his head in episode 4 when he fell down from his horse. That could be a reason why he didn't say what happened, because he might not know what happened because of that, either concussion or whatever the case may be. But it's almost like he's like, yeah, Aemond's the next in line. Like, he's scared, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Alicent went from literally being, Queen Regent, when Viserys was sick, to no one having her back, bro. Yeah. Like, her character has no more she has no more backup.
Yeah, and I think that's because of everybody kind of figured out who she was in the small council. I think they know now she's kind of like a devious, power hungry character. They know who she is now. You've already been Queen Regent. We didn't do well during your time.
Yep.
This is now a time of war and battle. You don't have that experience. We had to. They went into war while she. I mean, not really her, but she's more or less puppeting Aegon, and now we're going into war. This is what's happening during your time. There may have been some peace, but you're not needed right now.
Yep.
Let Aemond take over and step out the way. But she couldn't handle that. She needs that power.
She side-eyed the fuck out of him, dude.
Yep. And then
Side-eyed the fuck out of him.
and that's when she got really scared. And that's when she I love how they really brought out her breathing. She's like, yeah, you're scared, bro.
Claire Kilner knows how to where and when to put the camera at, dude, and that was a perfect scene that was shot there.
Yeah, I did love how they just all kept talking like around her, and she's looking. She kind of looks all directions, but she's mostly focused on Aemond.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that scene. She lost everything. She doesn't have even all the way down to Nicole. Her night piece. It's just it's none of her powers there anymore. I don't think she has anything. She might be able to, con some maids going to do some dirty work for her, maybe, but that's about it.
Yep. And moving on to Corlys real quick, and I'll mention Corlys, his first scene and his second scene, because it is a very powerful scene. He's hurt. He's lost literally everyone in his life, but his granddaughters and his grandsons, and everyone's gone, and he doesn't know what to do at this point. And I think that scene with Baela going to see him was a powerful scene, not only because of the way it ended, just because she was the one to show her that she is her mom's daughter, and that's exactly what Lena Valerin would have said to her father, and now Baela is the one who's saying it. But it's the scene in the background that we have on this the picture in the background right here, when she said, I'm not seeing salt, I'm fire and blood. I thought that was the most powerful fucking line within this episode, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That was so fun to watch. I know we're skipping over a couple things, but I kind of just want to bring up Corlys real quick because he's going through some things, man. He wanted to make her heir to Driftmark, but she said she's fire and blood. She's a dragon rider, and she wants to put Rhaenyra back on the Iron Throne, or put Rhaenyra on the Iron Throne, and that's her duty. And I think her mom would have done the same thing. But what was your thoughts on Baela and Corlys in this scene?
I did think Baela was fantastic, and telling her grandpa, like, hey, that's not me. And we all know that he does already have an heir to his throne, but he's just kind of trying to give it away. And it's like, for what reason? You have other people to go to, but at the same time, you need to just bring it back. And she lets him know that you need to give it to sea and salt. I thought was, as well as you, beautiful, well said. And for him to be so hurt because of Rhaenys, we get it. Yeah. And I'm glad they didn't dwell on his pain, kind of like they're doing with Daemon and Harrenhal.
Yeah.
Like we're not sitting here, he's sad, but he knows he's got to make a decision.
Yeah. And we know why he's sad. We know what's going on with him.
Right.
And if they're not making it a point to make him like this, weak, hurt, bird that's, with a broken feather that is just walking around, you know what I'm saying? So you're absolutely correct on that.
Yeah. Him not being grieve. We understand. But he's not going to grieve for too long. We know probably by next episode he's making a decision whether to be Rhaenyra's hand or not, and he might not even want it. He might just say, "You know what? I'm gonna back you up in this war, but I can't be your hand just because my wife did it, and maybe he just doesn't want to step into her shoes." But But yeah, no, I loved Corlys in this whole episode, and I think he did. I think it was a great show of his character.
And I do think because she did say sea and salt, or salt and sea, or whatever she said. If I had to pick one, and I don't think it's going to be Joffrey, even though we think he's the heir to the Driftmark throne.
I mean,
I,
he is next, as far as we know.
but I think he might give it to fucking Alan of Hall, dude.
If
I
if
think
you're
he
going
might.
to if you're going to give it to someone who has the experience, we know he's been to war with his dad. Obviously, not knowing that at the time. But this is kind of what Rhaenys was talking about, and maybe in that case, he does fulfill what she wanted. You know, she says,
Perfect. Yep, perfectly said,
she
dude.
says, bring up your sons and let them be something because they're yours. So maybe he makes Alan, the heir to the throne.
Yeah.
Great. And then Adam can be, maybe you're next in command when you're out on the sea or whatever you want. But step forward and make your bastard sons more than just bastards.
Yep, I agree. I do want to stick with Baela because that scene with her and Joffrey was amazing. Them two together are just fantastic, not only on camera, but their relationship, as Baela and Jacaerys. She backs up her. I'm not sure if they're husband yet, if they're married yet, but she backs up Jacaerys and says, Jacaerys is tired of being at Dragonstone. He doesn't know what the fuck to do. He just wants to get the hell out of there and make something and do something because Rhaenyra doesn't want him to do anything. And
Right.
then all of a sudden, Jacaerys is like, "Don't tell me or don't tell Rhaenyra that I'm leaving. At least wait until I'm gone." And she pretty much was like, "Yes, I will do that for you." Like, and moving on to what Jacaerys did this episode, he went over to the twins to try to get some kind of alliance with them and trying to just do something in general just to make this favorable on their side. And when they said they wanted Harrenhal, I would have been like, okay, that's fine, fuck it, take it, you know what I'm saying? But that's what we know as show watchers. But Harrenhal to a lot of people means it's a big castle and it's an important and it's an important position of where it's at Harrenhal. That's why Daemon is there now. But what was your thoughts on him going, leaving Driftmark or leaving King's, what is it, Dragonstone? He leaves Dragonstone and it goes to the twins and tries to get them on their side. What was your whole thoughts on that scene?
For him to step in as he did, don't tell my mom I'm leaving. Yeah, kind of a little devious. And I'm like, we know, I know that nothing really could have bad happened to him because he's been kind of smart about what he's had to do, as far as making plans and giving ideas. But the worst thing that could happen is him getting caught like Lucerys did against Aemond. That would have been the worst thing. But we know he's a little more battle season, and he's seen a couple things here and there. He's been trained, but not actual full battle. But man, he like I said, silver tongues, bro. He knows how to talk, and he knows what they want, and he's just got to make it work. He's really actually political, and I really did like seeing that side of him. Is that he did show how to finesse power where you can, while still showing you can take charge.
Exactly.
Which I thought was great and especially as far as character development goes, perfect.
Yep.
He went out, did what he was supposed to do, and came back with probably more than what he expected.
Yep.
And big plus for Team Black for sure.
Exactly. And Jacaerys is slowly becoming one of my favorite characters because of that. He rolls his eyes when his mom got back to Driftmark or back to Dragonstone, and he's talking back to her, and he's fed up of not being able to do anything. So when he gets there or when he's able to do something, yeah, he can't tell Rhaenyra what he's doing, but he does it anyway. And shit like that is what's going to make him a great character.
Yeah.
I want to move on to Mysaria and Rhaenyra because I want to get to Daemon eventually, but Mysaria and Rhaenyra, it was a cool scene that Masaria was kind of telling her, you don't need to fight to win this war. And people were a bit confused on what that meant, but we see one of the maids come in. She gets shooed away because Masaria and her are talking. And then we see Masaria tell her, you can win this war without having to fight. And we're assuming she means go to King's Landing and tell them, either what's coming or shit that's going to happen. I'm not sure or remember what exactly they said they were going to tell the common folk in King's Landing, but we see in that scene that they send that maid off to King's Landing, and then later on we see her in King's Landing talking to a gold cloak and getting her inside the castle or inside the Red Keep. But we see something happening strategically, and it's not necessarily battles. It's not necessarily going there to kill someone. It's going there to try to set a virus within the people in King's Landing and try to get them to revolt against Aegon and Aemond and set doubts in their mind of what's going on. But what was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and we already see that starting to happen within King's Landing. Like I said, we know that all the people are seeing bad omens. There's no food. People are starting to steal from each other. We see that happening right away.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're just fueling the fire. They're like, if Rhaenyra were to come in here and be queen, this wouldn't be happening. So why don't you get the usurper out of there, and we'll bring the actual queen in, and we can actually build back up King's Landing and how it should be. And I think actually in that part it was mentioned that during Viserys' time he had peace and the realm was happy, and since then, since his passing, it's just been bad with Alicent, bad with Aegon, and so far bad with Aemond. But again, parading the dragon through there isn't really on Aemond. I think just the cloaks just made that assumption on them on their own. But I think Rhaenyra making that decision and letting that those rumors spread fire, I think it's going to come in handy for her, especially within these next couple episodes.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's going to be crazy to see what the people in King's Landing are going to do next, because it's like I said, a virus that's going to spread through King's Landing. The doubt of the actual Aegon being the ruler or Aemond being the regent, like it's just going to go through all their heads. But I kind of want to talk about that and the mixture of Daemon, because I thought about this today on the way home.
What? I don't know if we should talk about Daemon right now.
I know, right? So one thing that I thought about, and we'll get into Daemon, but Daemon, if you think about it, Daemon put in motion to have Aemond as king. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With the whole blood and cheese.
Yep.
And all he needed to do was have Aegon get hurt or whatever the case may be, which we got in episode 4. And to me, that's another reason why Daemon was even more pissed this episode and more like more just in a weird mood, you know what I'm saying, is because he's the one who put him on the throne, and now he's pissed that he's not a regent or on the throne, and he wants to be that. He's telling people to call him king, not king regent. He says Rhaenyra will be ruling with him and not as equals rather. And people need to pretty much get the fuck away and let me be king. Yep. So, and I want to say this too, because this is really, we always talk about how good this show is. And we rarely have anything bad to say, but I will say the one thing that I'm very, very pissed off about is him still being in Harrenhal.
Yeah,
I think we could have got the gist of what Harrenhal is and what it's about within 1, possibly 2 episodes.
Yeah,
and we're getting it with 3, and it doesn't look like there's an end in sight, and I hope there is. But what's your overall thoughts on Daemon and him putting shit in motion for Aemond to be king? just everything that's going on, because I'm not liking it, bro. I'm not having fun with him, and especially with Rhaenys had more battle time than he has in this season. Everyone has just been doing things besides him, and he's the one just taking on this. I'm gonna be king. I want to be king. I'm equal to Rhaenyra. Like it's not fun to watch, in my opinion. But I want to hear your opinion on this.
We know that Viserys first chose Daemon to be his heir.
Well,
Then,
technically, he didn't choose him. He was just the next
or
in
he was
line.
just next in
Yeah.
line. Like, but Viserys said, like, you are my next heir or whatever. But then he chose Rhaenyra. She is not your equal now. In the eyes of your brother before he passed, you are not equals. She is above you because you can't handle being king, or at least what Viserys saw. Now you're stuck in this cuckoo house that you still apparently can't handle because you're doing the most wild things, and I mean wild, from what we saw this episode.
Oh man, I still can't get over that scene, bro.
Like, I don't know what YouTube's discretions are, but we know what happened. If you watch the episode, you guys know what happened.
So real quick, because I want to make sure people understand this. Daemon has no knowledge of what his mother looked like. So that scene when he pictured a woman that, because from what people are saying, that she didn't look like that, or they didn't describe her in the books like that to look like that. But if you think about it, that woman, there was no knowledge of what she looked like in Damon's head. They just happened to say that, and it looks like Alice is fucking with them, or something's happening. I don't think it's necessarily just Harrenhal. I really do think Alice Rivers is fucking with them in some kind of capacity, dude. Because it can't just be Harrenhal.
And she definitely is, because we know, because she brings her up. She brings up Damon's mother in the episode afterwards, after he does his deed with her. And she says, "Oh, like it's something along the lines like, are you sad you didn't get to know your mother, or something like that?" And he's like, "What? Like, how do you know?" And he just had a dream about it. And again, bro, you're still going crazy. You're still sitting here. We know, like,
Becoming Bob the Builder.
yeah, right. We know Alice ain't real. We know this because
Yeah, I want you to talk about that real quick though. So
Alice
talk
isn't
about the
real.
scene. Talk about the scene that we saw.
When we see him talking to her, when his hands are all blistered from digging again. What are you
Cutting the
doing?
wood.
Why are
Cutting the
you
wood.
working? First
Yeah.
off, you're in this cuckoo house and you're not doing things you need to be doing for your own team to get into power. And then you're talking to Alice Rivers, who is telling you this is what's going on. Like, I can hear wind and crying and screams from beyond, because you sent people out to go do your dirty work again,
Yeah.
and it didn't end up well again. And now someone else comes in the room to talk to you, Sir Simon. Alice walks behind him and just disappears. She doesn't
Nowhere to be
continue
found.
on behind him down the stairs, disappears. Sir Simon actually walks in the room and looks her direction, but keeps staying in that same direction as she passes. He don't see her. She's not really there. He is still crazy in his head, and I really want Simon to say something to him like,
Who the
"Are you
fuck are you talking
who are
to,
you
bro?
looking at, bro? Like, who are you talking to?" Because, and there's no way everybody's walking around him and thinking he's talking to somebody, and there's nobody around. Because
Yeah.
I know you see one guy actually pass in front of Daemon in this scene, and the guy just keeps walking, but Daemon's talking. So I'm like, do you think he's just not talking to you, bro, or are you seeing Alice too? And the thing for me is, are we gonna get an explanation of Harrenhal if everybody else is seeing crazy shit too,
Yeah,
or
I
is it
know.
just him?
That I really need to hear, because like we could speculate all we want, but we're never gonna know until they tell us exactly. Like Damon has to come out and say, "Do you see this person, or are you watching this? Like, do you experience the shit?" Like, we need to be able to see that within this episode or within the show, at least
Right.
season 2, before he leaves Harrenhal, because I think it's ridiculous for one that he's still there. Don't get me wrong, guys. You know how much we love this show and we talk good about the show, but we're not going to like everything, and this is that one thing that we dislike within this show, or at least I'll speak for myself that I dislike from this show, and it's unfortunate.
I mean, as far as it goes, like him going nuts, it's kind of, and I'm happy to see him not being comfortable. Like I'm glad to see his power is being challenged, or whatever power he thinks he has in his head. It's being challenged by this place. But now I'm over it. Like
Yep.
he's done the most wild thing. Give me Patty, bring Viserys back, tell him to stop.
Yeah.
Tell him to stop fucking around here and go and just
Yeah.
and get out of Harrenhal. We know Harrenhal is going to support you, and well, at least Harrenhal is. We don't know about the rest of the land because they came in and told him, "Dude, stop."
Yeah.
And you know, this is just the way it is for now.
Yep. And like I said, it could have been 1, maybe 2 episodes of us seeing what was going on, but I just think he needs to leave now and join up on this war, join up on these battles, because it's ridiculous that the one person we want to see fight is no longer, isn't fucking Harrenhal tweaking out. So
right,
we need something. But to finish this breakdown, bro, I think it was a very positive ending to the episode. We get Rhaenyra talking to Jace and kind of confronting him, like letting him know, I am proud of you, but this and this, and you can't leave, Rhaenyra, because you are the queen and we're doing this all for you. Like they come to terms with everything, but they come up with a great strategy that I thought was perfect for the way of introducing these new characters, because we have wild dragons, we have no riders for them.
right.
Now, you and I have speculated that Sea Smoke will eventually be written by Adam of Hall, which is the brother of Alan, because of the foreshadow that we saw in episode 3,
Right,
or episode 4, rather. I don't remember. 3. But we kind of speculate that Hugh Hammer, we know who is a Targaryen by, of course, the long hair, and we also see Olaf, who also has the same color hair that is in the Red Keep or in King's Landing. So we know that there's some out there. There's illegitimate children out there, and it looks like Lucerys and Rhaenyra are going to look through the archives to try to find out who they are and where they're at.
Yep. And I'm glad to see that coming to fruition, because like we see online, I've seen people have sent me the family tree of the Targaryens and everything going down. We know there are bastards. We know there are breakoffs within the trees or within the family tree. So to see these scrolls written down and to see these characters, other side characters, we know are going to be such an important part. And right now, like obviously they're pushed off to the side. They don't know that they're going to be a big ass part of this, about these battles coming up and being a big part of the storyline. I mean, you guys are going to either help save the realm or destroy it. Just really depends on how you're going to see it. But yeah, I'm excited, and I did think this again for Jacaerys to come up with this idea was fantastic. And he was
showing his leadership already.
Yep. And honestly, if Rhaenyra didn't say, "Oh, the hand," already to Corlys, I would give it to him. He was very smart this episode and did very many good things that were definitely leader worthy.
Exactly. Someone you want to follow for sure.
Yeah, this idea was perfect.
Yeah. And I, like I said, I loved the way they ended it. It led off with what and who we're going to be seeing in the next episodes and to come. So, and like I said, guys, we're going to get episodes like this. You guys can call them filler episodes. You guys can call them boring episodes, whatever you guys want to call them. But in the gist of everything, it's a very necessary episode because of the events that happen in episode 4. Like we have to see what happens when someone takes a castle and how they they take it and how they come back for it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to see what happens now. Daemon and Rhaenyra, they're not on good terms right now. We don't know what the fuck's going on. We don't know if he's hallucinating these conversations because of what's happening at Harrenhal. We don't know what's real at this point. So get him out of there. Come back to Rhaenyra and fuck shit up, dude. Vagar's, was just in battle. He was hurt pretty bad by Melee. So do something. Like do something where Vagar isn't, dude. It's simple as that. And we could speculate what we could see next, but it just we need something. And
Something.
Harrenhal is not it.
Nope.
Harrenhal just need to get the fuck out of there, and Daemon needs to just wreck shit.
Like, bro, all you wanted was battle, and you're not even there for it. Like, come on, man.
He's trying to raise his own foot soldiers for what? So fucking everyone can destroy them with their dragons. Like, you have people that are dragon riders or who have dragons. Like, do your fucking job and get out of there, bro. Like, it's as simple as that.
Get out of this haunted fun house and go do your job. What you're supposed to be doing the whole time.
Exactly. But anything else before we get out of here? Any last? Did I forget anything?
What'd you rate it?
This episode, I would have to do about a 7.5. It was really, really unfortunate that we still have him in Harrenhal, and that's the only negative thing I'll say about it. It was kind of slow in certain parts of it, unnecessary scenes, but at the same time, the dialogue was fine. It showed us that who is feared in King's Landing, who is feared in Dragonstone, what's going on with Corlys after those events. So I thought it was about a 7.5, 8. If I want to be generous, of an episode, and that's okay. I was okay with it. We don't need a fucking 10 out of 10 every single episode. So yeah, I'll give it about a 7.5.
Sure. Same thing. I would give it a 7. Just again, him and still in Harrenhal. A couple things I thought weren't necessarily needed, but all in all, I thought this episode was shot fantastic. Really great scenes that I think we definitely needed to bring up the battles coming. And it was. I thought it was a good enough. If you're going to call it a filler episode, it was a great filler.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
More like a fill me in episode.
Exactly. And I'm excited to see what's next. Guys, we're on episode 5. We got 3 more episodes coming. Also, for those who don't know, we are getting House of the Dragon season 3. The filming of that will begin sometime, I believe, at the end of this year, which hopefully we can get a premiere in the end of 2026 or the end of 2025 or the beginning of 2026. Also, for those who don't know, there's going to be a Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is being filmed as we speak, and is expected to have 6 episodes with a premiere somewhere in the beginning of next year. So we're getting a lot of Game of Thrones universe shows and content. So just make sure you guys keep an eye out for what's going on. Make sure you guys are following the channel, subscribing with notifications on. As soon as there's news breaks, we'll come out and give you guys as much as we can. And like I said, leave some comments in the video. We're asking questions about either the episode or about the show that you guys have. We'll love to do a full episode and talk about it. And give the video a thumbs up, guys, if you guys like the video. We are almost at 500 subs, like I said. Crazy number for what we've been putting out. I wasn't expecting all that, but thank you guys again for watching. X, thank you again for joining me, bro. If you could tell the people where they can find out social media.
Yeah, TikTok xrod_TV, Instagram xrod_TV. We're gonna be here on YouTube soon. I'm getting some stuff ready. Once I get back to my normal setup, we're gonna be doing stuff over there. It's gonna be xrod_TV as well on YouTube. Come check us out. Let me know if you like my opinions. If you don't, well, I'm a good guy anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, guys, make sure you guys go give him a follow. I will leave everything in the description below, so make sure you guys go check him out. Go show him some love. If you guys want to follow me on social media, Tones_TV on all platforms. Like I said, for my TikTok guys, we do TikTok lives mostly every day. Mostly on Sundays, we do a full breakdown of the episode. We bring you guys on, and if you guys want to talk about the episode, I'd love to hear you guys' opinions. So make sure you guys go hit that link in the bio or link in the description below. Also, we have some big announcements coming out for the show. We have guests coming on. We have some fun things happening on TikTok Live that we might actually do on YouTube as well. We're going to be doing a trivia night about House of the Dragons, Game of Thrones. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys leave a comment, like, and subscribe, right? But appreciate y'all for watching. Hope you guys have a great night. Love y'all.